快一点 In a Hurry, written by Amy Klein. Emily, wait for me. Emily stopped and looked back at Chrissy, her best friend. Come on, Chrissy, Emily said impatiently. The light's about to turn red. Hurry up. She rushed across the street. Chrissy frowned as she hurried after her friend. You never wait for me. But Emily was too far ahead to hear her. That evening, Emily was the first to finish eating dinner. May I go and play now? She asked. No, honey, Mom said. Wait till we're all finished eating. Emily looked at her little brother Jeremy. He was only halfway through his dinner. Hurry up, Jeremy, she said. Why are you always so slow? Jeremy's face turned red. He was always the last one done, and Emily always let him know it. Emily, Dad said, don't rush Jeremy. Other people don't do everything as fast as you do. But I hate waiting, Emily whined. Dad smiled. We know you do, he said, but waiting patiently for others shows you care about them. And don't you appreciate it when others wait for you? Mom asked. Emily stared at the floor. She hated being lectured. I never make other people wait, she said to herself. The next day, Emily rushed from school to gymnastics class. Chrissy arrived out of breath behind her. Emily loved gymnastics. Gymnasts got to move fast. Halfway through class, Emily was practicing cartwheels on the balance beam. Be careful, Emily, her teacher said. Don't rush through the cartwheels. You might fall off the beam. Emily laughed. I won't fall off. Watch, I bet I can do 3 cartwheels in a row. Don't! Emily's teacher tried to stop her, but it was too late. As Emily rushed into her second cartwheel, she fell off the balance beam. Emily started to cry. Her foot hurt a lot. Uh-oh, Emily, her teacher said. I think your ankle might be broken. Emily had never been so scared. When Mom took Emily to the hospital, the doctor looked at Emily's ankle and sent her for an x-ray. Her ankle wasn't broken, but it was sprained. The doctor wrapped her ankle with a long bandage, and he gave Emily a crutch. Your ankle should be better in about 3 weeks, he said. Emily and her mom left the doctor's office very slowly. Emily had to walk carefully with her crutch. 3 weeks, Emily sighed. 3 weeks of no gymnastics, no running, no walking fast. Suddenly, 3 weeks seemed like a very long time. A tear slipped out of Emily's eye and ran down her face. The next day, Emily was the last child in her family to be dressed and ready for school. She was the last student to arrive in her classroom. Slow down, she called out to her friends as they walked to music class after lunch. They started walking slowly with Emily. By the next week, Emily was tired of being slow, and the other children were getting tired of waiting for her. Jeremy knocked on Emily's door as she was getting ready for school. Emily, hurry up, he yelled. We're going to be late. I'm still getting dressed, she said. It takes longer because of my ankle. Jeremy groaned. Why do you have to be so slow? No one's ever said that to me before, Emily said to herself. That morning, Emily's friend Megan walked with her on the way to recess. Hurry up, Emily, Megan said after a moment. Can't you walk any faster? I'm walking as fast as I can, Emily said. Megan looked out at the playground through the window. They're already choosing teams for dodgeball. I'd better get out there. See you later. And Megan rushed out to the playground. Emily let out a frustrated little sigh. But Megan was too far ahead to hear her. Emily continued slowly toward the door. Then she heard a voice just outside ask, "Where's Emily? Is anyone walking with her?" Suddenly, Chrissy came through the door. When she saw Emily all alone, she hurried over to her. "Hey, Emily, you look a little sad. Are you okay?" Emily shrugged. "I'm okay, but no one wants to wait for me." Chrissy was quiet for a minute. Then she said, "That's not a very good feeling, is it?" "No, it's awful," Emily said. "People have been so impatient with me. I feel like no one cares about me. And they are always telling me to hurry up." And suddenly, Emily stopped. "And what?" Chrissy asked gently. And they sound just like I used to," Emily said quietly. "Oh, Chrissy, I did that to you a lot, didn't I?" "Well, yes. I'm so sorry," Emily said. "I never realized I was being mean. I know," Chrissy said. "You were just in a hurry." Emily nodded and gave her friend a hug. "Chrissy, I promise, I'll never be in too much of a hurry for you." And the two friends walked out to the playground together, one happy step at a time. 撰文 Amy Klein 陈爱命。故事中的艾梅就是我，我是家中的老三，很多时候我是落在后面的那个，但我长大后变得很喜欢快，对别人常没耐心，几次生病或受伤，使我不得不慢下来。这些经验使我学会了同情与耐心。我希望透过这个故事，小朋友能够跟我一起学习接纳和爱人的功课。